like listened on specific topics they were interested in. And they were student requested, so we had students ask what they wanted to see at the summit. And then the theme was "We Will Save Us," and it was based on, if you guys know who Kunu Bertram is, he's made all of our paintings for our summits, and that was our BIPOC town hall for the year before painting. And a lot of our merchandise was from him.
Yeah, Kunu works really closely with our Native Youth Wellness Program, and we've had, last year we had 3 different student events, and Kunu joined us and did a live painting of what he heard kind of around the room and happening. And so at our BIPOC town hall that we ran, the kind of words and the sentiment that he left with was that our students, that they will save us, that they are here with ideas, they're not just here with problems. As an adult, sometimes that line like hurts my heart a little bit because I'm like, oh, but you don't need us. But I think also like what a beautiful kind of rally call where like they're inviting us along with them, and we do need each other. And I think my favorite part of our work is that it is really intergenerational, and that we recognize each other's strengths and skills. But I think that the kind of line, especially with a lot that's been moving in the last 2 years, kind of politically and in our community, just this idea that our young folks are wise, they have ideas, and that they take care of each other and hold each other's back. So it was a really beautiful thing. Yeah. Oh, and then we are so excited. This is the unveiling. Next slide, please. Thank you. Of a video, so we could talk about the summit. We're going to show you pieces of it, but you can also see it in action through this video. If there's sound, there's fun sound in there. It works at all. But if that's too complicated, we can just back it up and stop. So big love to our leadership team and our facilities crew that let us host a conference here at LESD, where we took over like every physical space that we possibly could. So we had somewhere between like 250 and 315. I think that's our final number, depending on fire code and who you ask in the moment. But we, yeah, it was just like a full team effort. Eric was out like helping us pop tents in the morning, and our facilities team was amazing. So it was a beautiful event, and it was definitely held by all of us. If we can't do sound, there's no worries. Can we back it up and I'll just stop talking and you can just see it in action and imagine that there's like a really catchy song behind it?
There is a link in the agenda, so if folks are interested in viewing it.
Okay.
Oh, super cool video.
It is really cool.
That's Kunu.
That's Kunu. There you go. Okay, we won't talk.
Which one would you like?
One more over. Yep. Perfect. There we go.
One more from that one. That's
No video is good. Yeah. A lot less fun when it's quiet. There's Miranda. So there's a poster behind that you can see. And if you are in and around our space, you probably have seen posters. That's where they came from, yeah.
When was this?
This was May 23rd of last year. So well, you can see it, watch it. The song is really catchy. It's been stuck in my head all day. But would you skip to the next slide, maybe? Okay. So the summit, this is our second year. It's completely student-driven, student-led. So it was a student idea that came together around wanting to create cross-building collaboration, and also cross-identity collaboration. So we had kind of like different events for different geographic areas and different events for different identities. And a part of a big piece of what we heard from students was like, we really want to come together with each other and build networks of support across our buildings and across our affinity group spaces. So we spent kind of a year in relationship with our design team students. We had 10 students on our team last year. And we reached out to they reached out to kind of their networks. And so we came up with, there were more than, I think we had 52 workshops and activities that happened that day. And so the conversations that students wanted to have, there were conversations, there were workshops and activities, and then students-led workshops and activities too. So people could kind of apply and say, this is a conversation I'd like to have. Some people could say, this is an activity that I'd like to lead, or here's a workshop that I want to talk about. So the conversation students asked for and wanted to lead was around talking about AI and education. So they called it the good, the bad, and the algorithm. And that workshop was supported by some LCC staff and faculty, including their tech department. That was a really popular workshop. That one was full. Banned books and talking about students' right to read was a workshop that was also supported by our librarians and our staff. Hoops was a deeply requested service and support that youth really wanted to have in the building, both as a source of support to kind of check in and have resources, but they also led a series of workshops on student mental health and wellness. Housing insecurity and talking about, in partnership with 15th Night, different resources and kind of understanding of McKinney-Vento and supports. Immigration was a really big topic last year, so opportunities for people to be in safe spaces to talk about really unique experiences and fears and connections and resources. Students wanted to get together, so we had a BSU gathering and a GSA gathering, which was an opportunity for those affinity spaces to kind of be in space with each other and some community organizations. Students led trainings on microaggressions and the experiences of homophobia on the sports field. So kind of like not just in addition to classrooms, but the ways that students experienced discrimination in sports and what they wish that their teachers and coaches knew. And then we also had a student who led a presentation on the impacts of mass incarceration. We had beading from our Native Youth Wellness Program. We had tie-dye from a tie-dye artist. And then our MEP staff led a really beautiful embroidery project that kind of did a little bit of weaving together of like culture and embroidery and really powerful metaphors. And then we had, you saw in the video, we had a regulation room that also featured therapy dogs. Because when students throw a party, there's really good food, there are therapy dogs, and then there's usually really great dancing. So all things are kind of checked off. And then this is the painting over there that Miranda talked about that Kunu had made for us last year and was the theme of our event this year. All right, yeah, thanks. Next slide. Awesome. Do you want me to keep talking? Do you want to take a minute? Sure.
So what students told us, so we had over 250 students in one place, which was very powerful. So we had lots of feedback. So I can't really read what that
You
says.
have this handout in the front of your packet is also a synopsis of what is up here, and then some of you saw it too, but the posters that are in the hallway, like Miranda said, we had 250 people in one space. It was a pretty powerful opportunity to get some insight and input from students, which then helps us inform our programming and what we're up to, and hopefully our agency as well. But so if you want to see kind of the text here, but these are kind of the follow-ups, the follow-alongs. Just gonna hand you one. Whoop. There you go.
Oh, yeah. So the main priorities were,
Yeah.
okay, mental health and stress, safety and belonging, relevant future and future-ready learning. So things that will prepare you for out of high school. Equity and representation in classrooms and at school, and adults who listen and act.
So the posters are up on the wall. We were gonna ask you like roam around there and check them out. Andy's already done this one, so that's today. Can you go to the next slide, Ellen? See, we even have a live action photo of this morning with our curriculum leaders. So if you do have a chance and you haven't already, and you want to go take a peek at the posters and the writing, just know that that's the voices of the kiddos that were in the room. That represents 13 of our 16 school districts, kiddos for a ton of different backgrounds and a ton of different experiences. And what we wanted to kind of offer to you all is at the end of your handout is just a little, we don't have time to like move through a reflection, but just wanted to kind of offer to you a chance to, the way that we kind of took those words and looked into them, an opportunity as well for board and our leadership to think about what you see when you see students' voices, what stands out as surprising, even uncomfortable, that might be on the wall, things that feel affirming for the work that you're already up to, and then thinking about, you know, concrete actions and steps that we can use. We talk a lot about not just inviting young people to tell us what the problems are, but to also remember that they have really amazing insights on solutions. And so thinking about how we can support you all in the decisions that you make as centering students, and that we as a team kind of continue to come back to those priorities. Let's see, thank you. So intuitive, just tell.
Well, it'll work. There we go.
So these were the main consensus that we got from the vibes from the summit. So we need to expand the design team. So we're going to bring 2 students from each high school in Lane County into our design system, which will be the Roots model, which they'll come together 4 times a year to discuss issues in their school, and it would be like a ginormous student voice. Podcasts and resources, we're gonna create more connection. So we have a podcast going on right now. Season 1's already out, and it's really awesome. You guys can check it out. I love it. Collaboration, which is very centered on mental health. There's very high requests to have mental health resources in schools beyond what we have now, and then mental health education. Mentorship and support, so having peer-to-peer mentorship and those AVID skills, if you guys know what AVID is, they put in classrooms, and with focus on affinity groups and student leadership. And then number 5 is Student Voice Summit, so hosting our 3rd Student Voice Summit, which will be probably 2026 in May. And then focal population of juvenile justice and working to help students not go down a bad route.
Yeah, every year we kind of take on, ODE has focal student population, that language that you all know, okay. And so every year our design team kind of looks at and kind of takes on a different focal population or 2 to kind of think about how are we working kind of to center that voice and make sure that we're being able to represent. And so this year, this summer, a group of students and a group of U of O students are working with our local Lane County Juvenile RAP Court, which is our drug treatment court, and we were contracted to do a student-based evaluation. So we've been interviewing students who have come into contact with the system, students who are currently involved in drug treatment court, parents, families, educators who are in our system with our juvenile justice, delinquency, and prevention programs. And we're putting together kind of a series of recommendations, and students get to go present that back to our county. And so this year we're kind of taking a lot of what we've heard and thinking a lot about the role that education plays as a really critical support in that focal population, and also making sure that our events and our opportunities continue to center students who are also pushed out of schools and pushed into our juvenile justice system. On this side of the handout too, just we as an SA team get to do a lot of work of bringing these priorities into our meetings and thinking about how they inform our work, and ask ourselves the same questions, like what's affirming and what we're already up to, and what are ways that we can continue to do a better job of listening and supporting and being responsive to what students need. So you can kind of see how in this handout and up here the ways that we're moving with these priorities, and also continuing to ask young folks for what they need. And then we made these slides like 5 minutes ago. I feel like, what's the next one? Feels like a surprise. And it is perfect. Invitations for just you all to stay in touch with us as the design team, with me. So I just handed out this flyer. Like Miranda said, we're recruiting this year, so our team of 10 will potentially become a team of like 75 plus. Our goal is to have two students from every high school in Lane County. One of my favorite pieces that we see every time we get together in big groups is that cross-building connection and collaboration. It's magic, the relationships that people have found with each other with no adults involved has created so many cool things across our county and inside of schools. So like Miranda said, we have students who have been with us for 2 and 3 years now who are ready to mentor and who are ready to kind of move out into schools and help young people build, which is way more powerful than me going as like a oldish person. So if you have students that you want to recruit or send our way, this is that information, and it's also linked here so you can find it that way. If you have questions that you would like us to take to young folks in our community or have questions that would help inform like the work that you're up to, let us know. And then come to the summit next May. You can join us on the dance floor. We always have really good food. And stay tuned. We're gonna find out what students want to build and kind of conversations they want to have this year, but it's always a really good. I think that we hit it. Did we do all the things? Yep. There we go. Oh, and then here we go.
Contact
There
us.
you can find us. And like Miranda said, we just released our podcast. It's called Between Classrooms. You can find it on our website. Miranda is one of the podcast hosts and actually was the kind of brain and heart behind launching this podcast, just to give like her full credit. There are episode guides. The dream is that it's an opportunity to bring that podcast in as like a PD for teachers. So we have episode guides that have prompts and reflections and ideas of ways to bring student stories in. The most recent episode that they just recorded is all about student safety and attendance. So real stories from kiddos talking about what gets in the way of showing up to school. So really lovely and cool ways to kind of share student voice in different ways. I have no idea if we stayed in this time limit. Apologies or you're welcome.
no.
You're fine. Any questions for us or?
I have a question about the reflection.
Mhm.
So when we do it, like what I'll probably do is take photos and go home.
Oh, I would love that.
Then do we send it to you?
That would be great. Yeah,
Okay.
you can find my cubicle is around the corner, or you can give it to Tony.
Or I can collect it and make sure it gets there, Maria and I can get it there, so. Since you already have my email, it might be easier to.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
and I have Shirley's.
You do have
Oh,
my
well,
email.
I do because one of the team was.
Tony, yeah, our
Tony
legal
was
team.
a team member.
Tony is one of our leadership team members. Yeah.
They spoke at our Juneteenth. event.
So whatever,
He's friends with.
whatever's easier for the board.
Yeah.
Send, if you have Shireen's
Sure,
email,
yeah,
if not,
yeah.
I have it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for way to already just commit to doing.
So how do you get the juveniles that are in this system, they either the DYS or OYA that are not in the 16th school district, but in, what do you call them? I call them opportunity schools, like alternate, like gateways
Oh,
in
yeah.
Springfield. You
Yeah.
guys-
We recruit, a lot of our kiddos come out of alternative schools. This year, and kind of our hope with the podcast was also reaching to students who aren't currently enrolled or who have maybe kind of found their way out of our building somehow. Just kind of creating as many opportunities as we can for a definition of what student means to not only be kind of in our school buildings or in our traditional schools, but yeah, I can't, alternative schools have been like half of our population at every summit so far. They show up in mass and really beautiful. That's support. And we're in support in all kind of our alternative schools with affinity groups and other things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more question. So are you reaching out to all the principals? Is that what
We
you're doing?
we just put it to you up hot off the press. So this morning we launched it with curriculum leaders and you are the second people to see our recruitment flyer. We just finalized it on Sunday. So yes, this week we'll be sharing it out with our networks and y'all are invited to do the same.
So you want us to recruit?
Recruits, spread the word if you want to.
You go, Linda.
No, I got OYA kids. Justin City got a lot of
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, we have Junction Cities has
Springfield.
been, on our crew from the beginning and excited to see how many folks we can get. Here.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much. You know,
you.
this is, what you're doing is really inspiring. We talk a lot about how to do something meaningful with student voice that doesn't just involve having students come and sit at meetings. And you're doing, you both and your compadres are doing such a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great job. Thanks for letting us have it.
I just became the 10th subscriber to the podcast.
You might be running for some cool swag rather. Thank you. Yeah, like and subscribe, as the kids say. Right? And that's
See if we have it.
Do we have anyone, the next stage of our process is public participation. Is there anyone present who's seeking an opportunity to speak personally?
No public comment.
Okay. Then the agenda review, do we have, is our agenda up to date?
As agenda as presented, yes.
Okay. Next topic then is our consent agenda. The items on our consent agenda are 2 months worth or 2 months worth of board meeting minutes and a human resources report.
I move for acceptance.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes, Linda?
The human resource report, Ms. Morgan. It was in here?
Yeah, it's linked in board book. It's for this.
We lost a bunch of instructional assistants just before school started. And Morgan explained to Vanessa and me and Tony in the planning session that this was owing, as far as he can tell, to a perception that in order to maintain insurance through the summer, they had to work through the summer and not resign until the end of the summer, which is not true. And so, which calls obviously for the Human Resources Development Office to do some educating, because it does put us in a different line, but that's what that's about.
Getting a school.
There were people who were planning to quit, but thought that they had to stay till the end of summer to keep their healthcare, their health insurance.
How many people are we talking about?
Half a dozen,
I
maybe.
think that's what we got, yeah, it was around 6 or trying to find the hard copy of the report. It's linked in board book.
That was my mistake. I should have printed. I don't print off all that.
I have it. Yes, there it is. But I also have it.
It should be in the hard copy. It is.
I can tell you in just a second, I found mine.
Okay, there you go. What's that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6, okay.
And we have,
And we also lost a teacher, a life skills teacher, though I suspect that was for
probably not.
a different reason, not
Yeah.
that reason. But it's the IAs who need some help understanding that they do get to keep their benefits. But I was really heartened to see the report from special ed that all the classrooms are covered. If you look later on in our agenda, the reports from the various departments, special ed people said all the classrooms have the personnel they need, and what they're doing now is recruiting for the subs and the floaters, so that's very encouraging.
I'm looking at the proclamation.
Any others?
That was the case when the report was written.
That was the case
When
when
the
the
report
report
was
was
written.
written.
Yes,
So.
That may not be the case presently.
that might not be the case presently, but that.
Oh,
was the
well.
case.
It's a Friday.
Okay. Well, are there any questions or comments, further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand.
I'm abstaining because it
You
may
don't
not be
get to
current.
abstain.
Oh, no,
You don't get to abstain, that's not something you can do, you've told me that many times.
I don't remember telling you because I always abstain from things.
No, you're always showing me out about that.
I abstain with the reason.
Okay, so for the minutes, all the members of the board who are present voted aye, except for Linda, who abstained. Is Rose there?
She
Yeah, I vote yes, thank you.
Rose voted yes, okay.
I abstain with the update report.
which will be next month, which will be out of date. Not to be picky. Next topic is the financial report, Olivia.
Yeah, so this is the first financial report for the new fiscal year. So these numbers are reflective of both our fiscal year that just ended and our projections through that, which aren't final just yet. And then our actuals through the first month of the new fiscal year, which ended on July 31st. So overall, things are looking okay. We did have a pretty significant reduction in our state school fund allocation. The background on that is just purely related to a couple of districts making some revisions to their projected enrollment and ADM figures. And so that impacts ESD's allocation as well, because what we're funded on is based on the countywide ADM.
How significant were those changes?
Our state school fund revenue allocation is going to be about $1 million less than what we
So
budgeted.
for those, what does that translate to for those districts?
90% of that then flows into our district.
No, I
flex
mean, how much
allocations.
they reduced.
It varies based on the district. Are you talking about the ESD's dollars or those districts?
No, I was just wondering sort of the underlying thing that's happening with our districts.
So because of the size of the districts, it varies between, I think, a few $100s to actually a couple $100,000.
But the ones that were, she said there were some big ones.
Well, the enrollment adjustments were from our larger districts, and
Oh,
because there are
okay.
more students, so that had a bigger influence on the decrease in enrollment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but as the model works, the overall reduction for our state school fund, 10% of that, which is was about $110,000 right in there, about 1.1 million right there. So $110,000 in our operations, we've got that shortfall. And then 90% of it, around $900,000 or so, is what was spread through districts. And again, it's based upon enrollment and size in terms of how big impact. So, and also what services they order and how it comes out in flex dollars.
But the greatest amount is attributable to the large districts.
Okay.
Yeah. Districts project enrollment in December of the prior year. So districts make their enrollment projections. OD produces the first estimate based on those projections in March. We had a couple of districts that made revisions to their projections after the March estimates were produced. Our budget was built on the March estimates. Those estimates were revised at the end of June.
Okay.
And so that information came to us pretty late, and we didn't know that it was going to be changed.
I think I mentioned this last meeting too, though, but Olivia has communicated that to all the business directors in the county, that communicated with the superintendents individually. And it's just, again, it happened just with enrollment change. There's always a shift, I think, one way or the other between March and June. This was just the most significant one.
Do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Let the
Rose
record-
says aye.
Let the record reflect that all the directors voted in favor, please. Our next topic is seeking our approval of an exception to our normal practice of putting when we're gonna buy something, putting it out for bids. And this is an application to allow us to go directly to a single source and to negotiate only with them. And I will let Olivia talk about it because that's.
Sure, I can just give you a little process background, and then we can get more into the details of the actual services we're looking to procure. It's just as a background, the board, by policy, acts as the ESD's local contract review board, and has the ability to make the determination that when goods or services are only available from a single source, that we can award a contract without competition. That determination is made on written findings. Those findings are being presented to you tonight. If you approve a sole source procurement, then we will post notice that we intend to award that sole source procurement. That is posted for a minimum of 7 days. That allows anyone to protest that award. Like if somebody wanted to come forward and say, I can provide those services as well, it creates that opportunity. So the action being requested is to approve the sole source procurement and to approve us to post that notice electronically rather than in a newspaper of general circulation, just to eliminate some costs related to the publication, the timeliness of that publication happening. Casey Reed is one of our SI content specialists, and she's here tonight. And we work together to put this findings report together for you. So she's here if you have questions. But in general, what we're looking to procure is a partner to help support the development of a peer-to-peer support program related to a new CTE pathway that we're currently developing. So the Lane Career Academy currently operates the Hope Factory program. We're launching the Emergency Medical Services program this year, and the Behavioral Health program is like the third program under the Lane Career Academy trajectory. So it's literally in the process of being developed. And I'll let Casey speak to the details of exactly what this peer-to-peer support program looks like and why we are seeking to partner with Whitebird Clinic's HOOTS program.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us.
Would you like to come on?
Would that be easier on your necks? Okay, all right. I would love that.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this proposal. We're really excited about this new CTE offering of ours, the Behavioral Health Pathway Program. Part of what is unique about this program is this program stretches across the county and really seeks to meet students where they're at. We're running this program off of 3 different grants. And one of the areas that is prioritized in our grants is our rural schools. And as you might imagine, one of the more difficult things to find for a CTE program where students have to have a workforce experience of some kind is a behavioral health place to go to have that experience when you're in Sayusla, Mapleton, Cresswell, McKenzie, right? And so part of what I've tried to do in talking to folks, collecting data information is listen to our youth voices, who, as you might have noticed earlier, were talking about how they want a peer-to-peer program. And so I'm really trying to build off the work that Shameen and her team have been doing, build off of our district's programs, where 11 of 16 of them have identified that they see mental health needs as something they want to have. And we're really trying to build capacity in schools as part of this program. And so what I kind of went out and did is a scope of the community, of the resources that we already have that are partnering with our schools, and the resources that our students are identifying as ones that they feel comfortable with. And that's where we came up with a pool of multiple organizations that I'm partnering with for this grant. There are several others in addition to HOOTS. They just had much smaller amounts. For instance, Ophelia's Place is part of that group, Trauma Healing Project, 15th Night, Courageous Kids, for our students in some of our districts that have experienced a lot of loss in their lives. And HOOTS, which was identified throughout all of our districts as a resource that they're already using highly, that they already trust, and that also provides really unique services, and that they actually go out to all of our partner districts and really understand not just working in I hesitate to call it the urban context of Eugene, but I'll say it, the urban context of Eugene in our county, but also understand what it is to work in our rural areas across a range of student populations. And as this sole source procurement includes, they're also very aligned in terms of values, among other things. So that is the reason that we are bringing this forward to you. They're actually going to be working with students. We had our first meeting today. We had over 20 individuals in 2 different meetings from a variety of programs and schools, including our head district counselor over at Sayusla, who were in the space to talk about how we're gonna spend this whole semester planning the program. We're gonna take this back to our YAC groups in November to get more of feedback from the youth. And then pilot this out as part of the behavioral health program at Cresswell, Siusla, and Mapleton as part of our pilots in the spring. And the youth on the ground in those schools will be able to get inputs in developing this. So, any questions about this?
I have a question. Well, I fully understand why you're focusing on hoops because of its range of things. Does this preclude your working with those other smaller programs?
No, they're all actually in the room and have smaller contracts with us.
Okay.
Because we have 5 different pilots we're doing for this one pilot program. And one of those pilots is an online pilot that's available to all Wayne County students who are juniors and seniors. By the way, help me recruit, please. It's still open.
I was gonna say, it's the threshold of the amount for those other ones, when
Yeah.
it gets to this level of money that we're spending, then it comes to the board. The other ones we're able to do the bidding without the need of local review board.
And this is simply about the amount of time, travel, and the intensity of work that's gonna be involved within those 3 in-person.
So the
events.
people working in those agencies work
Yeah.
with the students?
Because for the other programs, there's just not gonna be the same intensity involved, and it's gonna be optional. Students are gonna have options of which organization that they choose to work with. And in fact, let me know if you have other partner organizations.
List those organizations up there again.
So Ophelia's Place is one of the organizations.
Okay.
Trauma Healing Project is one of the organizations. 15th Night is one of the organizations. Courageous Kids is another one of the organizations. We're looking to potentially, I want to be careful about saying this, we don't have a firm commitment yet, but we're looking at partnering with Everyone Village potentially as another site. Tip of Lane County is another one of our partner organizations. Youth Era was, but they just closed. And so that's another one of the issues that we're confronting too, is some of the organizations that have offered to be partner sites. And I have offered this out very broadly. So at our 15th night meetings, for instance, there are over 40 partner organizations in that room.
Yes.
Crossing different groups. And so,
As
So-
to those smaller programs, if Hoots gets this larger contract, will they have any kind of sort of organizational or supervisory role with regard to the sort of one-offs?
with what's happening in those,
Yeah.
yes, that's part of their role, is to actually be there and make sure they're helping provide some of the supervision on their
Okay.
sites. Simply because I can only be in so many places at
Right.
once. And yes, so that's gonna be part of what they're doing. And they're also gonna be building relationships with the community. So part of what they're gonna be doing too is holding meetings where parents can come, learn about this, have input about this, where the school community will get to learn more about them and their services. And another part of this that I didn't mention, but and this is a much smaller part of this contract, is they're going to be providing a virtual clinic to students who are in the program. This is my way of making sure that our future behavioral health professionals actually get behavioral health support while they're learning to do this. It's a key missing element of a lot of behavioral health work. And so that's another thing they're going to be doing as part of this contract.
You know, while I think that the idea of this is really wonderful, I will just tell you, I have some anxieties. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know, I'm sure. This is a really touchy area. This is an area that has propensity to blow up. You know, it has a propensity for things to go sideways just because we're talking about fragile things or often talking with really fragile people. And we're getting the broad brush strokes here and so forth. And I just, maybe I'm just being hortatory here, but I really hope there's good systems set in place to monitor what's going on, because this is the kind of thing that could blow the hell up.
I appreciate you voicing that concern, and that's actually been one of my bigger concerns as well, about how we move forward with this kind of a program. I have, for some context, I have run peer programs at a variety of institutions.
It's not just even the peer thing, it's just the mental health thing. I mean, that's just.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely.
I'm not talking
And-
about so much the peer part as the mental health part, honestly.
Yeah, and that's part of what we've been having to kind of, cross those bridges as we're making sure that we can provide meaningful experience for students to understand what it means to be in behavioral health. Something beyond just talking to someone and having them tell you about their job, while having to balance out the confidentiality and the ethics issues that are involved. So this is also a big part of this contract and this work is the fact that the majority of our mental health providers, you have to be at least 18 to be able to even come in the door and talk to folks about what they're doing. And so because the students in this program, we are, by the way, the third program of this kind like this in Oregon. So we're not the first ones to sort of be doing this work. What's unique about this is that we're doing this across the county instead of just in one school setting. In schools that have more resources than what we have had. And so, we've all been having to kind of talk across the state about how do we make this work? And this is what we've actually landed on because it's something that already CTEC Salem Kaiser is doing. So they're doing a peer-to-peer program where they're sending their behavioral health students out into elementary schools to run sources of strength curriculum. And that's one of the options that's in front of us for how this might move forward. We're trying to make sure we look at multiple models. And that's part of why we're taking the whole semester with this large group of people to get lots of input and research. We're also looking at best practices because peer-to-peer programs are actually best practice, evidence-based practices. Happy to send you all the research on that if that would be supportive. A lot of work has been done on this in California, for instance. And so I have got our whole team of people looking at all of the research, all the documents, and the range of kinds of peer-to-peer programs that exist. Because part of what we're also trying to do with this is, and this is part of what Coots is going to be doing, and I'll be doing with them, is being on the ground in the communities, in those schools, to make sure that we create a program that really fits for that institution and that community. And we recognize that all of our communities are pretty unique and different within Lake County. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on this and a lot of attempts to both look at existing evidence-based practices and stand up things that are really unique to this Lane County sort of context and use that lens. So I really do appreciate you saying that and know that I take that to heart very much so.
How did you select those organizations? I know you and I both meet at Peace Health
Yes.
Behavior Group regularly,
Yes,
quarterly,
yes,
and there's tons of people in that room,
yes.
tons of organizations in that room.
Yes.
How did you select those?
So these are organizations that again came up through our YAC groups as organizations that they are already used to working with. And then we also talked with our schools to look at what organizations are already working in our schools and so already have an existing relationship within those school communities and are already doing that work and understand the broad sort of context. And so those were the primary things that we're going into looking at the selection. Because I also have contracts with, I, for instance, provided mental health training as part of NAACP's Summer Bridge program. That was part of our grant to be working with NAACP. PLASA is also part of one of the groups that is part of our grant to be working with. And so I provided support for their Summer Bridge program this last year. And I'm doing ongoing meetings with both of those organizations as well and providing resources to them as well as asking them to be part of this as well. So, we've got a whole sort of network of different organizations across the county, some of which were already written into the grant before I was hired, and some of which are just now being included as part of this process.
Okay. I'm on CASA board. NAACP did not have a summer bridge this year.
Oh,
So I'm just curious because I know 1590. I know most all those organizations, and as we are talking at the behavioral health with Peace Health, we are really talking about recruitment and retention in the workplace, culture competency, and culture competency training as well. We did that with the county and having those conversations. And I'm just curious because like our chair here was saying, you're gonna run into some serious problems, especially around mental health. And
Sonia, would it be appropriate for us to ask, I mean, this is not conditional or anything, but for us to ask at the end of the semester, after you've done your planning, to come back and tell us sort of what's shaken out and what it is you're doing and sort of what the,
Yes,
I mean, this is a concept at this point, kinda?
so.
And could you feel comfortable with that? Would that be appropriate?
I think it'd be appropriate for the board to hear a report of how it's progressing, how it's rolling out. It is innovative, as Casey pointed out, there are districts that are doing this. What we're attempting, and this is the Lane Career Academy, is attempting to regionalize what one school district can do and bring that to now 16 districts where most of them can't do it. And so I think it's cutting edge, I think it's innovative, we're hearing, and we've got partners leaning in from not just the nonprofits, we've got some for-profit folks that are leaning in that are really coming on board. And I think it's critical work, and it is treasurer's work in some ways, and a report on that semester.
I'm very supportive. I'm not unsupportive at all. I'm just,
I think it updates on.
I just want to hear the update because it just, I've been on too many boards where things blew up.
It's really needed in a rural area, but sometimes it's just meetings and sometimes it's just, you know, circles, and sometimes it's people, there are people like 1590, they're in there, but they're with McKinney-Vento.
Right.
And there's a lot of unhoused students in rural areas. So I'm the watchdog, I'm gonna let you know. I will be the
Absolutely.
watchdog.
I'm here for you.
Oh, okay.
I would add that the report include the other two prongs of the Lane Career Academy as well, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, you know, maybe they're all innovative and it's things that you're doing under your umbrella here. I think it's good to hear.
Yes.
I think we've just been discussing it. We haven't yet had a motion. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion to approve what we're approving here is issuing a sole source provider contract rather than putting it out for the traditional bids.
I need one more clarification, the sole source, is this bid coming out in-house first before out-house? Is it something within somebody in-house that would want this contract before you put it out-house?
What do you mean, like within the school district, let's say, or?
You listed,
Or in-
there's a few listed.
So I think that's the issues. We've got a entity, Foods, that does mental health work and connects with all 16 districts. We don't think there's another entity in the county that does that. Now, whether somebody could stand that up over the course of the next year or so, I'm not sure. But part of the sole source procurement is we believe that's the case now that nobody else does this currently.
And
And you have a
it will be
7-day,
posted, so if somebody's got
it's
it.
a 7-day window for somebody to say, hey, wait a minute, we and these wheels.
It's the person that took over for Whitebird. The cahoots that took over for Whitebird, right? Whitebird went.
This is Hoots, which is a little different program. So this is helping out our teams in schools. So this
So
is.
she's just thinking they might be.
They're the same ones that took over from Whitebird, because Whitebird lost their funding. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. that's-
Anyway, do we have a motion?
Yes.
You moved?
I
Second. Okay.
Okay.
So who moved?
Tom.
Tom moved and
Vanessa second.
Any further discussion? If you're in favor, please raise your hand. Let the record reflect that everyone present raised their hand. What about Rose?
Rose says aye.
Okay. The next item is our annual report from the integrated programs.
So let me just tip it off and I'll turn it over to Dr. Galaxy, but the integrated programs, all districts are required with the money they're getting for this integrated guidance approach is to provide a public report. And it has to happen at a board meeting, so that's what we're doing tonight. We put it on the agenda here and we're just asking you to take a motion to accept it, not necessarily approve it, but we want you to acknowledge that you know you agree with this.
And it's wrapping up the work that we've been doing over the last biennium from our previous integrated guidance work. I'm gonna stand over here so you guys don't have to turn anymore. I'm gonna- You guys turn a little bit. First of all, I just want to say, like, I love coming to the meetings because I heard so many intersections already from this work that I do with justice involved youth, in Youth Voice and in the career pathway that Beth was just speaking about. When I am in conversations with the adults who are helpers in the community, who work with justice involved youth or in the justice system, but that are behavioral health providers, the question's always asked, like, how many of you do this work because you were you benefited from these services? And at least 60% of the room, 70% of the room raises their hands. So that is such a crucial piece for our students as far as a behavior pathway with the students I work with related to this. So I'm just extremely excited about that notion. The previous integrated guidance work that we did was related to collaborative problem solving in our justice involved youth education programs. That would be the detention programs at Serbu and the MLK Education Center. Since then, we have learned that this integrated guidance is only for juvenile detention, but this is our final wrap up from it being implemented in all of our spaces. What we learned from this was that our students were able to, over the course of time, relate to each other and to our staff in a different way. We built agency and engagement with our students when we were talking about their escalation cycles, when we were talking about their ability to re-regulate and build trust between the adults in the program and the youth. Our students were able to reflect on maybe the antecedents that happened in the classroom that escalated the behavior, and then reflect and problem solve with the staff before re-entering the program. And then oftentimes the students are right back outside of the classroom pretty quickly and we start the cycle over, but we can reflect on what we had previously discussed and agreed upon for the resolution. So it gave the students a really great anchor point for their own behavior and to start taking some ownership of their part in the functioning of the whole classroom environment. Challenge that we had was in detention, it's an authoritative space. And all of the adults are in an authoritative role, and this method requires a lot of relational work. Detention is not set up to be a relational space for the most part, but we've started to see kind of a shift in that. As the teachers were modeling collaborative problem solving, the county staff that work with the youth started to have those conversations too with them outside of the classroom. You know, what was the thing? Let me help you identify what I saw. Let me tell you what I saw and hear your truth about your experience so we can come to some common agreement. And that was one of the trickier things too, is getting the community involved. When I talk about community with justice involved youth, sometimes it's a hard population with who is the community. For us, we identify the community as the Lane County Youth Services side of the work that we do. And if we could engage the county staff in this work, we would feel pretty successful in it. And we are seeing a shift in that. The new program that we are operating for that was previously MLK, we're seeing a great number of supportive adults coming into that program that aren't ESD employees. They're county, they're juvenile counselors, they're group work staff. We have the psychiatric nurse practitioner that works with our students in detention is coming in. The detention group work staff is coming in, and they're all engaging with our students when they go through these escalation cycles to re-engage in the classroom. So all in all, I would say this has been very successful. Tricky because we have a really transitional population of students. We have new kids coming in all the time that haven't been engaged with in the same way. So building trust with those students sometimes takes a while, and it kind of dysregulates the group. But we are almost at that tipping point where the youth navigator model, where the youth that are doing the collaborative problem solving with adults, are becoming the model for the students who are learning how to engage in that. So it continues to be a work in progress. And the goal of this is to get the students that are in the programs that I'm working in ready to be involved with Youth Voice, to be on the Youth Voice and design committees. A lot of the times it takes a while. It takes a while for our kids to learn that thing. But the whole point of this is to get them to a place where they can re-engage in their community of youth and in their school communities. So the other thing that we're still working on is bringing this into schools so they can have a similar experience when they reintegrate into school. because schools are sometimes still an authoritative place and we've done something that's really relational. So helping our students as they transition back in for what they can expect and helping the staff that are receiving them learn more about this model. That's the work.
We need a motion to acknowledge that we have received this report. Do I hear such a motion?
I move, I second.
Any discussion?
Just very impressive work. It's just.
Can you get all the schools that they go back to do this?
Hopefully with all of the work that we're doing in all of the schools, youth voice work, the integrated guidance that other communities are doing, this is building in. So everyone's starting to hear the same language, we're starting to hear and use the same words and have the same vocal populations of students. So the kids that I work with as the target population are part of a lot of the other vocal populations that districts are working with. So it opens up the conversation in those schools to say what's working and what can we continue to work to support as students are reintegrating into their community. Good work.
Okay, there are no other comments. If you're in favor, please raise your hand.
Rose says aye.
Thank you very much.
Would you let the record reflect that all the board members voted in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you, Dr.
appreciate
Galaxy.
your passion.
Yeah, and I actually would love it if you would all come and visit us in our new program. We've got some really cool stuff coming on, so I will send an invitation. Tony can arrange that.
Yeah.
Like that? That's our move. Yeah.
Our next topic is, we have an ongoing process that culminates in the spring with the budget committee helping us set our budget. But the first thing we have to do is get members. And in order to get members, we have to identify where we have vacancies and we have to announce the vacancies so that people can apply to be in the program so that then we can appoint them. And so this is the first step. We are going to identify vacant budget committee members so that vacant budget committee positions so that we can then solicit applications. And as your notes say, we have budget committee positions to be declared vacant because terms have expired in zone 5 and 2 at-large positions 6 and 7. This is very pro forma at this point. Could I have a motion to declare these positions vacant?
Vacant, I second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Another quick one.
Rose says aye.
Everybody voted for that one.
Well, now that you voted, the next meeting, hopefully we will have some potential nominees you to then appoint.
The next meeting.
Well, we're gonna be seeking nominees.
We have to have nominees.
Now that you've declared them.
And then we have to nominate.
Right.
Yeah, we have steps.
Hopefully we'll be ready by the budget meeting. There's a lot of.
This is grant month, it appears. We have many grants to examine. And I'm going to turn this over to you, I guess, Tony, because.
My question is, do we want to take this all at once or one at a time?
I think all at once.
Well, three of them are continuations, the first two, so let me give you the brief overview and then you can ask questions and see if you want to take it further. The first grant, and the reason we have so many is some of these came in the summer and.
And it's the beginning of the year.
And it's beginning of the year, yes. So the Youth Empowerment Grant is a grant for about $100,000 for a year. And this grant actually supports the work that you heard about for the Youth Voice Summit. A lot of the work that Shireen Springer and teams up with Michelle Nieto in terms of engaging youth voice. They meet, I think they've got Saturday meetings with youth and other things. So this doesn't have any additional personnel or any other strings that come with it, other than it supports the work that we're already doing. The second grant, Structure of Intellect at Lane School, this one really provides more foundational support for learning about our students at Lane School, learning skills, kind of works with their attention, sequencing, comprehension, reading fluency. There's a lot of things tied to thinking process and brain research in this This is a 2-year grant, I believe. And the amount, let's see, what's the amount? This one is a 2-year grant for right around $150,000. And so those 2 are new ones. The next 3 that are listed, scroll down just a little bit here, Decolonizing Wealth Mental Health Program Plan, Native Youth Wellness, and Lane Regional Teacher Pathways. The 3 of those grants we're currently running. We just have applied for refunding, and we're asking you to approve the refunding of those. The 3rd one and the 4th one, both Michelle Nieto runs as part of our Native Youth Wellness Program. And the last one, Lane Regional Teacher Pathways, you may have heard or read that was cut from the budget of Student Success Act money. But in Lane County, we've been operating the Lane Regional Program in cooperation with our 3 largest districts contributing an amount every year, and also our 13 smaller districts contributing an amount every year. This grant money supports and goes beyond what the districts contribute. I think it's about a $30,000 contribution from each district. And it provides for scholarship money for folks who we want to bring into the workforce who may not otherwise be able to. So these are the last 3 are continuation grants.
So what's your pleasure? Do you want to do them all at once? Do you want to do the new ones separately from the continuations?
All at once, I support the,
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve these 5 grants.
I make a motion to approve the grants on the agenda as outlined, including the ones for requesting refunding.
Very good. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Rose says aye.
Let the record reflect everyone approved. The next topic is finishing up something we did last time, instructional calendars. There were, we did most of them, but there were a couple that we couldn't do at the time because their calendars were not following along with basically what 4J did, and so we had to find out what they were and how they've been proposed. And again, this seems to be pretty pro forma.
You approved the Westmoreland calendar, which was Lane School and Transition Programs, and that does coincide with the Eugene 4J. These other programs you see here, the JDEP and Rise Student Calendar, are year-round programs, as is the Daffodil School. So you're getting those calendars to approve. They're operating. One board to take actions.
Do I have a motion to approve these calendars? So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand.
Rose says aye.
We don't,
Do you have some discussion?
I want some clarification. We don't have no lost days currently, do we?
No,
Because we just started.
our
This
calendar.
for this year.
No, there's no emergency closure days yet, or with that. And these calendars reflect full calendar.
Okay.
Okay, trying again. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Everyone present is voting. Director Kent is not here. Perhaps she can let you know what she votes when she comes back. Next, we have to nominate or decide if we want to nominate people to fill positions on the OSBA board and the OSBA Legislative Policy Committee. We have 2 positions that are vacant that we're eligible to nominate and vote on. We have incumbents for both. Board member, OSBA board member incumbent is our own Linda. And the Legislative Policy Committee incumbent is Judy, I've lost her last name, Newman, from 4J. Let's talk about them separately because they're separate. Linda? You cannot twist your arm into doing this.
No, you cannot. You can shoot me in the foot and I would never run for OSBA board of directors.
Okay.
I served 6 years and I'm asking if people are interested, please step up if anyone on our board. Right now, the person that's interested is on Springfield School District, Nicole DeGraff. She's on the Springfield School District Board. She's the only one I found to be interesting now. That was willing to step up and run. Might be more at the region, I don't know, but I told her I'd put her name out there. And Judy Newman is going to remain. That's the LPC, and I support that. Judy does a very good job of that. But for us OSBA board, they need a voice that's gonna be heard, and mine is not heard anymore. Not when it comes to the governor's committee or stuff like that,
It's too bad because they need your experience, I think.
Well, it was not just me, but I appreciate that, but things just was not done the way it was
We've
done in
heard
the
you,
past,
we've
so
heard you. We've
it's
heard
gonna be
you.
somebody else.
So you're nominating that person from Springfield?
Yeah, for now, she's the only one, but we have our Lane region, I think, next month, right?
Yes.
You know, right now, she's the one that expressed interest and I support her. I talked to
Do we
Todd.
need to if we're gonna nominate someone, do we need to do it now, or do we have another meeting in case somebody shows up later?
Do you remember, I don't remember the deadline.
The deadline
The
is
deadline to
It
submit
has to
is
be
the
this
end of this month.
September 30th,
Yeah.
so it would need to be this.
We need to nominate.
Okay, if we're gonna nominate someone, we nominate this person.
Nicole DeGraff for OSBA board is what I would nominate for now.
Go ahead.
Can you kind of articulate how often they meet?
Oh, they meet quarterly. We used to meet in person. It's been very difficult having them on Zoom. But that's the way it's been going. We met in person in January, then we did the OSBA summer conference in August, and we have the retreat this weekend. And then you have the convention in November, but we've had lots of special meetings.
And that's where I think you need somebody with experience. If this person from Springfield, what's, she have experience?
She's on the board. I didn't ask her how long. I think she's probably been on the board maybe 2 years.
2 years.
On the Springfield board?
Maybe 2 years, and she's interested in policy and guidance and.
But I think that's what's wrong with it, is you're not getting that continuing experience. I mean, when I was on it, we were, you know, we're really working well together with them. That's not what happens.
Hasn't been the same since November 12th of 2023.
Yeah. Remember that.
I mean, it's not necessary. Nominating is different from voting, right?
No,
Correct.
yeah, we don't have to
I
nominate.
mean, we don't
anybody.
have to nominate someone if,
No.
I mean, not to discount what you're saying at all, but.
No.
But it sounds like if she's not real well experienced, we might just sort of say, well, let's see.
Who else, yeah.
So nominated.
And
So
so,
what happened, I remember I ran for state representative position, that's Judy. And we had
It
a
was
big
for the, you were for the legislative policy committee.
legislative policy.
That's different from that.
Right, but OSBA was also, we all got up and do speeches and stuff.
Nora, do you,
At the original meetings.
At the regional meetings, that's right.
Nora, do you want to be
The
nominated?
deadline to put in is this month,
So
so
we
when
have
we
to
get to the
nominate
regional
now.
meeting, you know, it would be.
That might have been before the election. Maybe that was the nominees who were giving speeches before
Right,
the.
exactly.
It was at the original meeting.
Yeah, once they were.
Is it
nominated.
possible for our board of secretary to send out an email to all the 16 school districts and let them know it's open, the
Well, I think they
OSBA?
know that.
yeah,
No, they don't know I'm running. They asked me.
Oh.
Yeah, cause I went to these districts.
Oh.
You have to go.
so OSBA sent it out. And,
I
oh,
think-
you mean the regional?
No, what she's
No.
saying is so that the districts know she is not running.
Oh, we did not
Because
say.
now we know Judy's running, so nobody's interested because Judy does a good
I
job.
see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, 4J didn't know, we knew about the legislative policy committee, but we didn't know about the OSBA board.
I thought-
Because I know we're voting on it on the next meeting.
Yeah, I thought, we inquired, well, you go ahead, what we found
We
out.
did not send out a message.
No.
No,
There was
but-
not a general broadcast of
No,
Linda's not doing it anymore.
No, but I think we only confirmed that this week, so. We only confirmed your interest this week. So, I mean, we're.
And it was only within our group.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when the young lady, Nicole, approached me and she said, if you're not running, I will run. So I would, she was the only one, but I'm like, there's people that don't know that may be interested and they may just think I'm still running. I'm not saying I'm the queen, but I got, I've been there the last 3 terms and Sherry was there years before me. And so it does have to know.
so I'm sorry.
No, I'm just raising my hand on behalf of Rose, because
Oh,
Rose has her hand up.
then let me back up, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, I'll back.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna,
Go ahead, Rose.
okay, Nora, do you want to be nominated?
No.
Okay, then. If nobody's really interested, I think that we should probably just not nominate someone, and their home districts will nominate them if they're interested. And I support our component districts having representation. Since Nora is out in Sayusla and stays connected to those districts, like you maybe do double duty. I know you'd bring a lot of experience to that board, but if you're not interested, then I won't nominate you. So thank you.
And with me and Linda both serving for many years, the ESD has been represented for a long time.
Right. I would like to see a rule on
Yeah.
persons, they do have a rule of conflict, but to be on the OSBA board, that's.
There probably will be from the state.
No, it has to come from outreach, I'm talking about outreach. But there is some rule from around the state,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
but not
I see what
from
you're saying.
ours. But Nicole's the only one stressed interest, and I do support her. But
Okay. Well, do you want to nominate her and have a vote, or do you?
No, I think the Springfield board will do that.
we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if our board's not gonna support that, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
Springfield
okay.
can do it, she can,
How about for the Legislative Policy Committee? Do we want to nominate Judy Newman?
yes,
Yes.
I nominate Julie Newman for the LPC.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. Let the record reflect that everybody voted yes.
Rose says aye.
And Tom, if you think about it, I know you asked about how often they meet, but if you think about it.
Thank you.
They'll say you're new, but new people's always come with different perspectives and ideas sometimes.
Okay, the next topic
If I
we
may,
have, we now get into.
Who made the
our-
motion? Just 1 second. Who made the motion? I didn't catch who made the motion.
I made the motion for Judy Newman
Got it, very good.
and Tom second.
Yes, I got that. Thank you.
We now come to policy issues, and then as before, we have first some policies that are up for their second reading. Am I doing this right?
So-
Looking right?
It's a little confusing
Some of
because
these are second readings,
the
and
first
some of these are sort of
well,
leftover.
the very first ones are first policy and then second readings, and so I have a recommendation.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the first policies you see are GBN, JVA, and JVA and GBN.
Ooh.
And so even though it's the first policy, here's what you're changing in the policy. If you approve this, you're just changing the name of the contact people who
Oh.
folks would go to. So currently, the people listed as contact people no longer work in Delaney and Steve. So we want to, so I'm requesting that we move this like tonight, even though it's the first reading, because it's pretty much, we need it. What you'd be doing is saying that Morgan Christensen, our HR director, and Molly Gillette, our special ed director, are the 2 contacts. So I'm asking that you move that one tonight, even though it's a first
So I
reading.
move for approval of GBN, JBA, GBA, GBN.
Do I hear a second? Second. And I will tell you, we tried to figure out if we could take this out of policy, so we didn't have to vote on it, and we can't, so we have to vote on it. So all in favor, please raise your hand.
I need some clarification.
No, you don't. It's just changing the names from Z and, and Sue to Morgan and the new special ed person. That's all it is. That's all we're voting on right now. We've got three things coming up.
Okay, you changing it to Molly, the new special ed person?
Molly and Morgan and Lou in place of Z and Sue.
So really, it's the position, not the name.
It
so
ought to be
much.
the position, but we
Yeah.
have to put names.
Yeah, if we had the
That's
position.
all we're voting on right now.
Well, Rose says aye. I thought I heard a call the question, but yes, this Rose says aye.
Okay, I think we did it. Okay, second thing.
So now we've got the second readings that your superintendent did not, let's say, link into the board book correctly when we moved section C or D. And to be clear about us approving these policies, we wanted to make sure that we brought them back. I think you might have made some motion, but they either weren't included in the list or they were there in the list, but not linked. And so I'll take responsibility for making you do this again, unfortunately. But these came forward before, or were supposed to come forward before in section C. So you've got section C, CB, and section CG are both recommended for accepting the adopted changes that OSB recommended.
So again, this is one of those, this is cleaning up bills. Cleaning up legislation that didn't quite get straightened out last time. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve.
C, CB, and CG.
CCB and CG, where that's at?
Never mind, you do it.
No, go ahead.
No, because I was, oh, right there,
Yeah.
okay. CC.
B and CG.
CG is.
Before we go any further, I am a policy-driven person. You cannot hold a person accountable if you don't have the policy, and I have to understand. I'm looking at this, but I can't, when it said line and staff relations, we don't have these I don't have.
They were linked.
I'm trying to find a hard copy. Hold on.
No,
Here we go.
but when now,
Here's a hard.
Their CCB is up.
So tiny, you'll have to do it.
The first read was on April 1st.
We did the first read on these here, not last month, but the month before.
yeah, the month before, and I lost.
And then last month, we just neglected to do the second reading on them because they were just.
If I may clarify, so the second reading did come in May, but they were missing from the agenda.
You what?
They were missing from the agenda in May.
Oh,
And so the section C has moved forward, but in reconciling and making sure that the entire section moved forward to where policy rewrite, those were missing from the May second reading adoption.
And here's CG, which is unaltered, consistent. In fact, I remembered I didn't include it because it was unaltered. It wasn't amended in any way, but since we're doing the whole section rewrite, we want to re-adopt it in the same format.
I don't want to follow this up, but I'm getting a little confused because I'm reading this and I'm thinking like this is like a due process for employees reporting matters, is that correct? This line in staff relations? It's like it's a process for staff reporting matters. What is your due process? When a staff have a concern or complaint?
You take it to right here it is, it says refer matters to the.
This is just establishing hierarchy.
Yeah, so you can go to their supervisor, could be one way. You also have them be able to, the idea here would be to take it to them without necessarily needing to file a complaint. It just says where the lines of supervision.
Can I ask a question of clarification? Does your policy KL have a first informal step?
It does.
Okay, so that's where people would bring their first concerns.
This
Right,
isn't
yeah.
process, this is just establishing the hierarchy.
Just tells them where they can go, who they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Processes are coming up in the Ks. The due process part that you're talking about are yet to come, we just haven't got to them yet. They're in the Gs and the Ks.
Okay, so there's another policy we will be talking about besides this. Okay. Cause I
have no idea.
Cause the due process, of course, you always wanna try to resolve the matter at the lowest level, like Tony said, but it don't always work that
We
way.
have so many policies on that stuff, we're really specific, and we've been working on them in the policy committee. This is just a framework of this is organizational framework stuff, is all this.
Well, the due policy should sort of correlate with this.
They will,
Okay,
they will,
with this policy, okay.
they will.
Okay.
You just don't want everything all at once because of it.
No, in the meantime, things are happening before they're adopted. We wanna get them adopted and then, you know.
Well, we do have stuff adopted, we're just re-adopting. Anyway. Any further discussion?
Thank
All
you,
in
though.
favor, please raise your hand. Let the record reflect that everyone said yes.
I didn't see the motion, I didn't hear the motion of the second.
Oh, I
That
thought
was
we
a
had a
motion.
motion. Could we have a
Okay.
motion to
We have a
approve?
motion.
Yeah, we did. We had a motion to approve.
That-
Motion to approve
CCC and
CCB
CG.
and
Yeah,
CG.
nominated.
No, second.
I just.
Okay, I have.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Now, the
Rose?
next thing
Just
is
one second,
some
Rose?
things to delete.
Rose says aye.
The administrative rules, we don't actually have to vote to delete because we don't promulgate them. That's for our information. But policies CK and CL are proposed to be deleted as redundant. Superfluous.
So these are recommended for deletion?
Yes. But the ARs, we don't have anything to say that, so we focus on the CK and the CL.
And again.
Why don't we have nothing to say about designation of acting superintendent on his position?
Because it's an administrative role and we aren't in charge of administrative.
But his position is under the board.
We are not in charge of administrative. So
I didn't say we're in charge, I just said, why don't?
because it's an administrative rule.
Okay,
I mean, that's the
So,
answer.
okay, I just asked the position is under the
because what
board.
happens when we deleted CI, I think we failed to delete CIAR.
Okay,
So it's kind of perfunctory because you already deleted CI, so I don't know how to have an AR there. He said, please, let me double check. Hold on.
I'm gonna check too.
The CI is deleted. We adopted the changes to CI. It's just that the CIAR, I don't feel we do. Should we now? It's kind of my call in terms of how things get done if I happen to leave the building. And so what we discussed in our policy committee on that, and what I talked with admin staff, is when I'm out, I still have a cell phone texting opportunities. And I also can name folks, and depending upon who's here, I'll be naming I can see situations where it says I named the assistant soup. Well, if assistant soup's not here, then I'm gonna name somebody else. It spells that out, but I don't think we need that. I think it's a matter of the superintendent still available. So that's why I'm choosing to delete that.
They were drafted in the days before cell phones.
There's 1993 readopted 2002.
That's a long time ago. The generation.
And there's also some more policies to be deleted. DFD, one other DFD, providing space, other facilities and services. Again, this is one that was put through the process and we just forgot it.
We were catching up and catching the seconds.
PFD was an OAR that was repealed, and therefore OSB is recommending we delete it.
DFD is not an OA, it's not an AR.
It's not an AR, but it's still the OAR was the reason that started the policy.
Oh. Do you have any concerns?
I'll put them in writing. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. So I sent it in, but I guess some clarification, it's good. It's all good, let's move on. It's good, I don't wanna hold up the
I don't know
process.
if you're concerned, I mean.
No,
this
I
one-
think
this
he has
one-
some-
Do we have a motion already or?
Yeah, let's move on. It's good.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the deletion of CKCL and DFD. Second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Rose says aye.
Okay, record reflects that everyone raised their hand. We are now done with the action items and we will turn it over to Tony for legislative and superintendent reports.
All right, thank you. So as far as the legislative report, the legislature is not in session now, as we know, and the short session really isn't until it starts officially February 2nd, yet there will probably be some committees and things starting to meet, some hearings that'll happen in January. So it comes a little faster in the short session than what the actual start date is. But one of the things that will affect perhaps what goes on or what doesn't go on is the latest revenue forecast. And I shared a little bit of this with you in the board briefing. Up until the last revenue forecast, prior to this one, things were going really well in terms of what money looked like and how it was flowing and how revenue was working in Oregon. The last two revenue forecasts have kind of shown that we aren't progressing at such a rapid rate. And one of the biggest hits that happened in this last forecast was the federal bill HR 1, which meant about $888 million less for Oregon than what we got before. So the financial picture looks like it's going to be slowing through the rest of 2025, predictably, not the guarantee, but predictions show that it'll be slowing. But it also shows that it is likely to pick back up again in 2026. So the situation is it's not a rosy picture. There's not extra money available. So when we go in the short session, it's unlikely that the legislators are going to be looking at what they can spend money on, because they're going to be looking at things not to spend money. They're going to try to hold on to the money. Some of us have been around for a few decades, like me, Superintendent Skoyak. Recall that there have been times when you get the state school fund at the beginning of a biennium, and in the second year of the biennium, the state school fund shrinks. The legislature says, oh, you're going to get less. The good news, I guess, if there is any good news about this economic forecast, is it does not look like we're in that situation. Looks like the state school fund that was sent at 11.4 billion is going to hold through the second year of the biennium too. Prediction, not my prediction, the economics prediction. So that's kind of the nice segue. The hard part is we know we were short, or we felt we were short in terms of some funding proposals specifically related to special education. It's going to be very, very difficult to move anything in this short session that brings more money to programs that we're operating, programs. So that's how it ties into the legislative part. We'll keep an eye on it. OAESD will be coming out with some recommendations in this short session. I believe they're getting the legislative committee together now to start meeting. And the other thing they're looking at is not just a short session, but OAESD will also be looking at even setting some priorities in the long session. This last year, we were a little late at OAESD for getting our proposals out. We were behind COSA and behind OSBA. There's a conscious effort now to really get out there and get ahead of these things. So more to come as we go into the short session. Any questions about legislation? I'll move then the superintendent report. In the superintendent report, Rose and I attended the last OA ESD Governance Council meeting, which was last Thursday. That included some nominations to the Legislative Committee. It also included a finance update on OA ESD's operations. So some of you have been keeping an eye on that. We ended up kind of heading towards a potential cliff. We've kind of avoided that in terms of what the latest projections look like at OSBA. Part of that is we now have a half-time executive director instead of a full-time executive director. So there's significant savings in terms of the personnel.
Working out okay?
Yeah, Sam Breyer, who was formerly the superintendent at Multnomah ESD, is now doing the job as a half-time executive director. So far, it seems fine. And it seems to be working with him at that time. And then the other big news is we had a welcome back event last Wednesday at Churchill, or 2 Wednesdays ago at Churchill High School. And thank you all for coming out. It was great seeing you there. Vanessa, thanks for your welcoming and very inspirational start for us. The theme, as those of you who were there saw, was serve. Where we've now got the purpose statement out in front of folks. And we heard just some really good staff presentations from HR, business, facilities, tech, school safety and prevention, librarian, Daffodil School, deaf and hard of hearing teacher and sign language interpreter, Lane School IA, and also our affinity groups, our Equity Advisory Council, and LCEA. I think a couple of you asked, hey, what was the feedback you had? It was very, very positive feedback. Typically, you go into those things, there's something that just went awry. In this case, nothing that big went awry because we were hearing a lot of positives. Our staff loves seeing what their colleagues do. They're still learning. And people were coming up afterwards saying, hey, can we present next time? So folks are coming up one. The other thing I wanted to acknowledge, it's in the it's in the school improvement report, but what's really kind of neat, and I keep thinking of Carol Kenobi, our former assistant super, every time this comes up, but 5 of our school districts, Mapleton, McKenzie, Marcola, Crow, and Blatchley, have a schedule, a school calendar that leaves professional development days for them to all work together. And they're doing so in coordination and collaboration and with facilitation of Lane ESD school movement. Awesome. So I know Carol, if districts just align their professional development days, we can get so much more out of this. And so these districts have done that, and they held a big session last August 26th at LCC, and we'll be doing I think the next meeting here. And so it's really good to see that these districts are getting together on non-school days and non-school time and using our staff. That's
Okay, the next informational topic involves policies that you are seeing for the first time. And ordinarily what we do on this first reading is alert you to them, and they are on the agenda, they are linked. So if you have questions and concerns, you've got the links to look at these proposed changes between now and the next meeting when we will be voting on them. And they're big enough that if you're concerned about it, you might want to look at them sooner than, they will be linked together when Maria sends out our message about the next board meeting, but you won't have very much time then. So if you're concerned to look at things, you might want to look at them now because you do have the links. Tony has indicated to us that there is one set of these, those are in policy F about facilities use, that are simple enough that if we want to, we can just go straight from reading 1 to reading 2 tonight and polish them off. There is no need particularly to do that. It's just if we want to, we can, but if it's purely your pleasure what you would like to do about those, whether you want to just say, well, we'll try to knock them off now, or we're ready to act on them.
So those are in, I just had to look up my computer. So those are in our agenda for this time?
Yes.
Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, I think we
I don't see it here on this.
Yeah.
I
mean,
they're next month. I think they're small enough for next month to do.
We could do it, we can easily add them, just put them in the next month. What happened is we didn't do our first reading last time because we wanted to fold them into the second one, and I don't know why you decided to try to pull them out this time, but you did. So I am dutifully following your lead.
Yeah, so all I will say is that the confusing part is that, we have our policies in sections. And they're, given the letter, so now we're in section G. Well,
Where could be an F and G?
we're in F and G, I'm sorry, we're F and G. G is our largest section by far. And if we left it all at once, I think we would be dealing with hours and hours of board meeting. So, or trying to get all that read in a month for you is also a big lift. So we pulled some out that we felt we could deal with. Those are the ones listed on tonight's board book. And so these are the ones I'm asking you to spend some time reading prior to the October meeting, and then the October meeting, hopefully we will be able to approve these.
There's something with the Fs too, but the Fs are not controversial. I mean, and they're honestly not very often used even. The Gs are a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Personnel.
But I mean, it's just, I don't think we need to knock off the Fs. I think you can go look at the Fs if you haven't done it already, and we'll do them all next time. It's not gonna be.
Why would you delete general hiring practices? There a new
Well, why don't
policy?
you read it and you will see, it explains it. We have had the policy committee look at all of these, you will recall.
Well,
We have had the cabinet look at all of these already.
Yes,
And all those
yes,
things are written in there, so you can read it.
Yes, I'm gonna read them, but please understand, everybody comes from different walks of life and different perspectives and different interpretation of policies.
But these aren't necessarily being actually deleted, what they're doing is being replaced.
Okay, well, I'm gonna read the replace. I thought it was just deleted it
Some of,
altogether.
well, some of them are being deleted because you read them and you say it's blah, 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 quite honestly. And some of them are being replaced being deleted to be replaced with updated versions. But some of the ones that sound important really just say, go forth and do good, so they don't
So,
say anything.
One of the things that, and I guess
I'm thinking deleted versus, if this replaces should say replace.
But there are some that are honestly deleted because they don't say anything.
So here's what I'd say. There's different folks with computer links. Whoever would like a hard copy, please let Maria know. Because the thing it says, and I can see it, well, it says delete it, why are we deleting it? So what OSBA did on this is they actually put reasons why, because in this case, GB is covered in in the new GBC. And so it really takes walking through each one. But if the links are troublesome, and believe me, I don't want to hide it behind links. And right now I can't click on that one. I have to go down lower to click. So our policy committee gets hard copies. Anybody else who wants hard copies, be glad. I think that's the way to go. So please let Maria know if you'd like a hard copy, and we'll provide it.
I would like a manual, policy manual.
Yes, actually, I noted that in the June meeting, but we want to make sure we've adopted all of the new one
Yeah.
before we do that.
Yes, thank you.
I operate on hard copies. So
I do too.
I mark them with pencils and pen. That's how I have to do it.
I do too. I should print them off and bring them though, but
No, we will print.
that's okay.
It's a very large section, and so if you would like me to do that, I'm happy to do
Yes,
that.
we will.
Just let me know.
And I thought that's what we were doing, weren't we? Before.
We were, yes, we were giving the board,
The opportunity.
we were giving the board, at this meeting, the ones that were gonna be voted on next time, so that had been our practice. So that everybody would have gotten a hard copy the day of F and the first half of G.
Which we will have taken care of.
So that everybody had a hard copy.
We'll do that. But you don't have to ask, let's just provide it, because again, I'm operating on that tool, and the board needs the same tool.
We just weren't giving them out on the first reading, we were giving them out on
But they need.
the, prior to the second reading, right? Okay. The next things are for our information, some administrative rules that are being,
Yes.
uh,
Little simple. the only courtesy here is that JBN and JBA, where you change the context in the policy.
Do it again.
I'm just saying, we're changing the same context in the others. Just for courtesy.
Oh, it's the same thing.
So they will match.
Okay. And then, we have reports from school improvement, special ed, and IT. And it's time for advisors. So our superintendent representative tonight is Superintendent Chris Kulica from Science Law.
Yes.
How's Maple?
Mapleton's great. I drove by on the way here. Still there.
But he answered, he drove out on the way here.
Yep. Unless I was going the long way around.
There was no fire.
Everything was there when I left this morning. Again, I was here in January. And we talked about a couple of programs at the time. I think probably the most interesting kind of follow-up update would be early literacy. Again, we're through our first full year push with high dosage tutoring and reorganizing how we do primary language instruction. And again, like with the system that we're using, and we have all the teachers now, again, using the same diagnostic, same system. You're actually, it's easier to get much better data all the way across the board and actually see demonstrated growth in areas where we just haven't had it before. Again, like we had 82 kindergartners, 14 were in high dosage tutoring, 13 demonstrated growth. One was just there for one of the tests, so we're not really sure where they wound up. Again, first graders, 78 in 78 total, 11 in high dosage tutoring, all demonstrated growth. Second grade, 93 students with 15 in high dosage tutoring, 14 demonstrated growth, one with one data point. Our third graders, 91 students with 11 in high dosage tutoring, 11 demonstrated growth. Fourth grade, 89 students with 11 in high dosage tutoring, 10 demonstrated growth, and one student without demonstrated growth. And when you look at the students' test scores, they went negative, like on a scale of like 40 points out of 100. It was a deliberate attempt to, I didn't like the test, so I worked myself backwards. And then in the fifth grade, we had 104 students with 11 in high dosage tutoring, 10 showing growth, and one without demonstrated growth, and that was fairly flat, fairly neutral. What we saw, again, I think probably more important than anything else is that when you have kids that are beyond a grade year below, closing that gap is difficult. At the end of last year, our kindergartners were either at grade level or within a grade level with none beyond a grade level behind. First graders, only 3% in that tier 3 high risk intervention group. And then you see again, the grade levels that apply a little more fidelity, got a little better results. And the gap that we're looking to close now will be our fifth graders moving to sixth grade, simply because the fifth graders were that group of kindergartners during the year of online virtual instruction for everybody across the county. But their group of students in tier 3 closed quite a bit. And again, so with our kindergartners, nobody was 2 grade levels or below. Kindergartners, our first graders, 3%, which is 2 kids, 2 grade levels or below. Second grade, 16% with no one 3 grade levels or below. And then you see the older groups, which again have had less intervention time over the years. Again, with like third graders are 20% at 2 grade levels and 6% at 3. Fourth grade has an interesting flip-flop. it's about kind of a bimodal group. They had 6% in 2 grade levels or below and 20% at 3 grade levels. So that's where this year's 5th grade are playing catch up. And then our split in the 5th grade was 21% and 14. That's the group that's had, again, kind of missed kindergarten because they were virtual learners the whole time. To aid in what we're doing at the elementary level, we have hired a literacy coach for this year to specifically go in and help teachers with primary classroom instruction outside of our walk to reading and high intensity groups.
I have a question. I think this is gonna sound dumb, but how can a kindergartner be 2 grades below? There aren't 2 grades.
Well, again, we look at kind of age range and there's an assessment of pre-K skills. And we have some kids that come in at a level that are below pre-K. And trying to get them again into the kindergarten.
So there is this grading.
Yeah, there is, because by the end of their kindergarten year, they should be at kindergarten 1 or grade level 1 and some months. But we look at where they are, like if they're below kindergarten and how far they should have assessed. Right.
That's where Head Start is nice. They have that Head Start and then kindergarten.
Yeah. So anything else you'd like to know about elementary literacy? Again, I was a chemistry and physics teacher, so kids came to me already know how to read. I just had to teach them how to use a calculator as a tool, not just a paper. So yeah, we did a good job with you, like you guys did hiring over the summer to get everything staffed and ready to go. And we're going through the same policy rewrites because of the legislative changes last spring. So it'll be a busy year for everybody playing catch up. And we'll hopefully be nominating somebody for OSBA board at our board meeting tomorrow night. So it's not just hanging on Springfield or letting you walk away. You're free.
Make sure we know.
He's
who
running
it is.
That's right. Again, I'm not exactly sure what else to share. We've been in school all of 6 days.
Yeah.
And so
It's hard at that point for enrollment, isn't it, to know?
we're still, again, like we're sorting through who are the 10-day drops.
Yeah.
Again, because there's been, like, we have kids that are on the Lane ESD homeschool list, but they've been showing up and they have a full schedule. So we're gonna wait until the middle of next week. We'll resolve those. We have some kids that have moved from virtual charters into the district or virtual charters to ESD. And so next week, we kind of do the dance of spreadsheets and we let everybody know where some of these kids have cycled through. So we know where they are and that all their needs are being met.
Well, I spent one Saturday in a wrestling meet at your gym. You have a nice gym.
And again, our maintenance crew and our now retired athletic director put together a heck of a plan to clean it up and get it kind of refurbished.
Yeah.
So Mike.
Thank you, but I have a quick question, because I'm gonna go to the tour of the elementary school. Is that open to the public or did Maureen just happen?
No, it's open to the public. Again, we have a facility advisory committee that's working, looking to put together information to take the board for hopefully a future bond for either remodel or retrofit of the high school, as well as some work at the elementary school. And so we're going to start with a tour of the elementary school prior to the board meeting tomorrow. We'll do a tour of the high school before the October meeting. We have 5:30 if you want to come see a building that's outlived its insides. You're more than welcome to come along. And that's really kind of what the issue is that we have buildings that are coming up on 60 years old, that when they were built, again, were built in a time where it was always low bid, best bid, and they were built with systems that were antiquated when they were built. And again, at the time was to save money, and again, 60 years ago was, oh, we'll just knock it down and build a new building in 30 years. And in 30 years, they didn't do that. So we're, again, at the point where some of the buildings just outlive their systems.
And your voters, I don't know what percentage is elderly, retired. I would assume that would affect your vote.
It will, it always
Yeah.
does, yeah, and, again, Florence is a bit disproportional, I think our median age is 62 at the last census.
High income, high age.
Yes, yep. So,
Well, Mike,
I know, but it's,
I keep messing up.
I don't know how we're gonna get those people in Florence to kind of wake up and vote.
I know.
They're gonna take, these are the people, the kids are gonna be taking care of us, but we can't.
well, and again, just in the community, there just isn't a large number of young families with kids. And, again, having such a senior population means you need you need a workforce there for everything from home health care to just handyman,
Yeah.
plumbers, carpenters, painters, which again, just kind of don't exist. The only way to bring it in is to kind of grow those kids locally and provide them the opportunity to.
We have a great CTE program, they'll do it.
We're trying to plug the gaps.
And because of your location, because my son's a Mason, you could charge more in Florence than you can in Eugene.
Yes.
Mike. Third time's a charm.
I think they're done with me.
School started, Soup said this is the best start of the school year that he's ever experienced. High school, we've got a new principal, a new AD, a few new teachers. And this year, we're actually having more kids transfer into our high school than out of, which is a plus for us. But it's going pretty well, and we had a football game Friday night, we actually had the football delivered by a skydiver.
Oh my gosh.
Which, hey, we've got an airport.
Great idea.
Nice football field.
We're trying to really get people stirred up,
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
No, the airport's right across the
Oh,
street,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and I'm sure there's a combination of things going on, but the kid that put that all together is really he's a senior. And he wants to be an announcer, and he's doing a really good job of it. With the things he's got planned for all the football games, win or lose, he's a super kid, but no, things are going well. We've settled 2 union agreements, and we've got one more with the, what do they call them, confidential, or the principals and so on.
That's usually an easy one.
I was really disappointed because the union thing, one of them took a long time, and I think if we hadn't had a union rep and we hadn't had a rep, we could have got it done in 2 sessions, but that's just me. But anyway, we've got that done, and it's on opposing years for the teachers union, so we don't have it all at once. So that worked out really well. And you guys are starting to have computer issues because I got an email this week from one of you guys, and I talked to her earlier. She never sent me one.
Someone
We
told
had
me
that
something.
last year with you, and that's starting. So for what it's worth, somebody's playing games again.
Okay.
But other than that, everything seems to be going pretty well this year. Really pleased with what I'm seeing.
Good, good. Did you win the game?
Probably shouldn't ask.
At least it had a bright start.
They won the football game.
It was one of those, where'd he go? I'm really fortunate because I'm an old guy, and as you know, I refereed for a long time, and now I get to do the change. I love it. And but we got a pretty good workout then. But we've got a new football coach, a whole new staff. And the attitude of the kids and everything were, how can I do this? I didn't hear one swear word on the sideline all night, which is a
Wow.
huge change from what it was before. And we still got a long ways to go, but I think the attitude of the kids and stuff way over a lot better than it was.
And to me, that's more important than the W's and the L's is.
Well,
they're-
the
It
W's-
is.
But last year, it really got out of hand. And I think the new coach and the new staff are catching it right in the bud really quick this year, and I'm glad to see that. And like I said before, when they say, hey, goofball, what game are you watching? I know they're not talking to me, so
Erica?
Well, I think the year is off to a great start. We have our new superintendent. She hit the ground running in July, Dr. Miriam Mickelson. She is a delight, very positive, very relational. She's working on her 100-day plan. She's working on putting together her strategic vision and strategic plan. I'm just really thrilled. I think she's doing an amazing job. I know Tony's had an opportunity to meet with her. And she's really been doing an amazing job getting around already so early to so many of the schools. So I couldn't be happier. She's doing a great job. I think since the last time I was here, the big announcement was that 4J we did win our lawsuit against the federal government regarding the Dear Colleague letter. So that was a big deal. So glad that that's done. Trying to think what else. I know, enrollment is down for us, but at 2 of the elementary schools in kinder and first, we had a weird bump in enrollment in those schools, and trying to look at, adding an additional, teacher for those kinder classes or the first grade classes. So hopefully we'll find out, by the end of this week, kind of where everything shakes out with those 2 schools. It was just a weird bump that we hadn't really anticipated, whereas everybody else's enrollment has been down. But yeah, I can't think of anything else other than it's just a really positive year. Like, our board is working on superintendent evaluation process. We haven't done that in a while. So really glad to have somebody who's going to stick around, and she is in it for the long haul, and we can really feel the sincerity and leadership in her. So we have her.
And Danny in person.
Yeah, hi. It's so much nicer to be here in person. I think I'll put this up. I think we also had a great beginning of the year. Everything went smoothly. There were no evacuations. Thank you very much. We had the 5-year anniversary of the fire in the last couple of days, and our enrollment is still not back up. We are in, I think, the last year of our state school fund dollars being tied to our pre-fire enrollment. They gave us a buffer that we kept extending. Hopefully we'll be okay now. There's housing, low income and low to middle income housing is finally getting completed. So we're optimistic about that. We're also in our 2nd year of a soft rollout of an online program. We have a great dedicated staff person leading that this year, so hopefully she can really grow that. But I think it's part of the trend to kind of offer services that people need, and those services, what they need might change. I know even for myself, like my daughter did a year of online school, then she went back, now she's at A3, so she's just moving around for what fits her. So the fact that we can offer that in our area is helpful. I was also going to mention the collaborative days that you mentioned. Because we're small and there's only one first grade teacher, for example, they don't get to talk to other first grade teachers. So being able to combine forces like this is just brilliant. I think everybody's going to be better off for that. We are also probably contemplating a bond. And it's interesting, last year, one of our board goals was to get demographic information about our area and to see, like how much more can we actually expect to increase our enrollment? How many kids live here that aren't in our school? And it's so small, the numbers don't even exist. So we're kind of stuck. I don't know exactly where we'll go is trying to figure that out, but it's hard to know who you're missing if you don't even know who you're missing. So I mean, this might be our cap, this might be everybody. It'd be great if we could get some more kids from like Thurston, people who want a smaller environment. The bus goes to Thurston. Yeah, it's huge, it's a huge district. So, and that word's not really getting out either, and I don't know how to do that. But for, if parents are dissatisfied at the bigger schools, there's options. We've got some great projects going on, some really cool science things, and there's a lot to offer at our school. Anyway, I think that's it.
There was a really nice story last week or the week before about how important the school is to the community and to its rebirth.
That's kind of a neat thing that besides just being the school, we also get to practice being a part of our community, maybe in a bigger way.
Any board members want to say anything? We have noted on our announcements that there are 2 upcoming conferences, but they both happen after our next meeting, so we don't have to think about them right now.
Hold on, one of them
No,
maybe.
we do.
Maybe.
I'm wrong.
So Maria, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the rooms for the OSBA conference open tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow on the
So-
10th, and so we do have some considerations to keep in mind that registration by the board.
As long as Linda's still on the board, we're in.
We're saving money.
No, we are, we're in.
So,
When she goes off the board, it's, whatever.
So I guess the idea is if you are going, so the fall regional is in October. That one you have some time, I think, to let Maria know to be here. We're gonna be inviting all the board members from the county. But for the OSBA annual convention, if you're going to that, let Maria know so she can get rooms.
Should we tell her now?
If you can tell her now, it probably helps.
May I be recognized by the chair?
Sorry, say that again?
I was just asking if I could be recognized by the chair. Sorry
Yes,
to be
go
so
ahead.
formal. It's just weird on Zoom. Oh, here, sorry, you can't see me. I was just gonna say, because this is Maria's first year, is that from what I recall, our previous board secretary booked rooms as soon as they open because they do fill up. So if there's anybody planning to go, I would strongly recommend you let Maria know ASAP that is your intent, because I know lots of people who end up in hotels, down the block or further away because it does book up fast. So just a little tip. Anyway, that's it. I don't plan on going this year, but I do plan to go to the regional and to the OAESD. So thank you.
When is the regional? It's October 14th.
October 14th.
So I suggest right now, if you know you're gonna go to the November OSBA, raise your hand so that we can tell Maria.
Or Jay will pay for mine.
I see that.
Thanks, okay.
Are you gonna sleep with that guy again?
Oh.
So it looks like,
Ask questions like that.
looks like Leslie knows for sure. I'll just say it's easier to cancel than it is to vote.
That's what I was gonna say.
What's the consensus? Are we all trying to say?
Well, we don't even have an agenda to know what.
So
what's
here,
on.
I recall that the board looked at, all the different things we could do and made it, kind of said, we have the budget to go to the fall convention and the OAESD spring. So yeah, those are the 2 that we were targeting as being able to.
And then when we have new people come on, they can do this.
Then the.
Yeah, they do the summer,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were good with that.
But I would mention that budget dependent, it may be helpful for our newest member to attend more than one. I mean, normally 2 is good, but your first year, that summer board conference. Anyway, I just want to mention it. I don't know if you're planning to go, Thomas, but just FYI.
Yeah, Thomas.
Was that good?
Yeah.
He went this year.
And he got open meetings launch, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, the same public meeting law presentation was part of what I attended, but it was overall a very illuminating, wonderful experience. The November that's in Lane County, or is that?
No, it's in Portland.
Portland.
Well,
Area.
yeah, but we have that OA ESD conference on Thursday.
No, we
before that.
don't.
No,
Not any, so
No,
OA
not
ESD
anymore.
decided to do, also to save money, only to do the OA ESD conference on the years of the long legislative session. So it's
Oh,
not
okay.
happening.
But it's still the same amount of days.
The convention's the 6th through the 8th, the OSBA.
Okay.
Like, we would normally have done something.
And they don't do it on Sunday anymore, do they?
No.
They changed it. And they're not gonna do the OSBA summer conference anymore. And that was a big concern, that a decision that came up that was, they felt was made without input from the members. That was discussed at my region, that come back up. They're gonna have it at LCC and Reading, I think.
More red, you know.
Yeah, for the, like the OSB summer conferences and stuff, so. But I think the convention may still be, continue on November in Portland.
Okay. I declare us done. Thank you. You are the. Well, I have big.
I know, right?
I know. It's- Yeah, we also a bunch of people out.
You got it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's all right.
I see that.
So I don't know about all my stuff.
I know.
There's some of them, that's what I said, it's not back here, but I've seen them.
I'm showing.
No, you will.
Yeah.
Here.
Some of those are restrictions.
Oh, yeah, that's good. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Very good.